What's up out there, YouTube? Double D here with Tournage du Bois. Welcome back. So today is a big project. Today we are working on our YouTube cross-channel challenge of 2021 March project. Our buddy Bruce over at Jordan Woodwerx decided for the month of March that the challenge was going to be water. And I will leave a link to that video right up here. I thought about the project and I said, what have I created or gotten myself into with this YouTube cross-channel challenge? But I am up for the challenge to push myself. So we are working on our water project today. I kind of have an idea formulated in my head about what I want to do, and we will talk about that as we get closer and start working through the project. So we're going to be working on this project for the water challenge. And today we have this piece of walnut. It's pretty big sized, obviously. We've got a crack here, but that's okay because this whole edge is going to be coming off. I'll be putting that on the bandsaw and cutting that down. And not sure how tall we'll end up with it. This crack only goes in just a little way, so I'm not worried about that getting turned out. This crack is pretty superficial as well, so we'll be able to get around most of those, and I'm not super worried about it. Other than that, we have our normal checking and things like that that we would expect to see. Pretty big piece. I am excited about what we're going to do with this, at least what we're going to do with it in my head. There's a good chance that won't work, but we shall see. If it does, I'll be super happy and amazed. If it doesn't, it's a challenge to push myself and get better. So in the event that this doesn't pan out, we might switch to plan F. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go, but let's see where we go. Okay, we have that sanded up to 240 right now. I'm going to hit it with some denatured alcohol so we can see it clean up a little bit. That'll raise the grain. We'll hit it again with 320, then we'll do sanding sealer and 400. But I thought I would bring you back at least to see it with the denatured alcohol that we're going to do. Always fun to see it when it cleans up that first time and get to see the graining and the coloring of the wood real good. Get all the dust off of it. Really liking that combination of the sapwood and the heartwood. I've got plans with the sapwood. But, yeah, super loving it so far. So we'll hit this with 320, and then we will sanding sealer it, hit it with 400, like I said. And we'll skip through most of that for you all. All right, we have that sanded up to 400 grit. I was alternating directions just to get a little bit smoother finish on this. We did the sanding sealer. Now we're going to use our steady rest that we got from Brad at Brad's Workbench. So we'll get that set up and be ready to go. Get that right around here. I'm going to put some tape on here just to keep it from scratching up anything. And then we will start hollowing out the inside. So now we are getting ready to really put this steady rest to the test, because of course you've always got that pressure when we're boring it out. So now we're going to start hollowing. We're going to give this a test. So first off, Brad, I'm really sad that you stole these wheels off your daughter's toys, but I kind of like the flashiness of them. If anybody needs one of these steady rests, reach out to Brad over at Brad's Workbench. He will make them, and he'll probably sell them to you for right about
$1 million.
Which I think is a heck of a deal. But reach out, talk to him, see what he can do. I like it so far. It's really well constructed. Now I've got to undo it so I can get my tool rest on this end, because obviously somebody wasn't really thinking when they did this.
Now, I may be an idiot, but there is one thing I am not, sir, and that, sir, is an idiot.
All right, so we've got it sanded up to 400 grit. We've got our sanding sealer done. Like I said, I'm not worried about that tool mark. Well, I say like I said. I actually forgot to turn the camera on for part of this hollowing out, but had a catch. Left a tool mark and a little crack, which I've kind of sealed up, but I'm not too worried about it because of what I have planned going on for the rest of this piece on the outside. So I'm going to hit the inside here with our Brad's abrasive paste. Going to hit that, get that taken care of. Then we're going to hit the tongue wax on the inside as well, just to bring that up. Go from there, and Then we will get to the next part. Got our tongue wax here from Brad's workbench, and that's what we're going to be finishing this with. So we're going to put that on, let that set for a bit, and then we will be back to buff it out. As you can see, we have a little bit of issue here with the glue. There's that crack base because that happened with my catch. I'm going to get this cleaned up just a little bit, and then we will re-sand this outside and move forward. And we're back over here. The hand sanding is done, so now what I want to do is hit it with the abrasive paste. Obviously can't get too much up on these, but I can get a good chunk of this bottom portion here. Get that taken care of, and then we will figure out what kind of a finish we're going to put on it and go from there. So let me refill. Brad is working on a new product, so this is Tung oil concoction that he came up with, and this is a little bit different than the Tung wax. So the Tung wax you put on and then you let it soak, and then you put pressure on it with your paper towel, and you wipe it, get it up to a really warm temperature, and it just melts the wax right into the wood. This we're going to put on it and just let it set. Then we're going to hand buff it off and go from there. So this is my first time using this. We'll give it a try, see what we think, and have some fun. Goes on really, really well. Just going to let it soak into the wood overnight, and we will come back tomorrow. I like how it looks. I like how it goes on. And like I said, we're just gonna let that soak in, and we will be back tomorrow. Hey everybody, welcome back. So we put the Tung oil on this to let it soak, and it soaked for a bit. It's actually the next day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of buffing. The purpose of the Tung oil, of course, is to give it just kind of a matte finish, which I'm actually really, really happy with. I didn't want it to be super shiny, but I will put a little bit of the Tung wax on here as well, most likely on here on the outside. Then we'll get to working off get the tenon taken off, which I'm probably just going to sand off just to avoid any potential issues, and go from there. So with that being said, let's do a little bit of buffing. Alright, we have that sanded to 320 grit. I'm going to brand it, and then we're going to hit it with 400. And then Alright, so we're going to hit it with 400, then we will denature alcohol, put a little sanding sealer on it, hit it with 400 once again just to smooth that back up, and then we'll finish. Alright, so what I'm going to do down here, obviously I can't do an abrasive paste very easily without doing everything on the chuck, so I have some Axe Polish Restoring Paste. I'm going to use that on the bottom portion of this, and that'll clean up really nicely, and then that will look really good and blend in well with the rest of the project. When I'm doing something like this by hand, I like to go in alternating directions just to get it into the grains from different directions as well. I think that helps a bit with the shine and the way it ends up finishing. All right, so we will get this all cleaned up and we will be back for the wrap up. Hey everybody, welcome back. Got the project done. So as I mentioned earlier, Bruce over at Jordan Woodwerx issued the challenge for the month of March, the challenge being water. When I first started this idea, I was immediately envisioning a lot of different things. Turning a platter and then doing resin inlay, doing some carving to do an atomic representation of water, in resin in the inlay. But then I thought, well, you know, probably a good number of people will use resin, and the weather in Kansas can be iffy as to whether or not resin would be a good choice for me. So I went a little bit of a different route with this. Going to the vases again, I'm really enjoying doing hollow forms, but what I wanted to do was do a representation of a water drop with a splash effect at the top so that it would represent the different stages of water, both the forming and the drop as well as the splash as well. That being said, I think this is one of my favorite pieces that I have ever done. It's not hollowed out a lot down here at the bottom part because I did get that bad catch earlier, so I was a little bit intimidated by it going through it. So I decided to leave the base solid so it would sit really, really well. A small tube or something could be put in here as a bud vase if it was wanted to be used with water. Otherwise, it can hold fake flowers or just be an interesting art piece. I love the walnut look. I liked the graining in it. I think this turned out really well. Like I said, I used Brad's abrasive paste and tongue wax and then a tongue oil as well. Did the hand carving. Then I used the Axe Polish Restoring Paste for the bottom portion after my brand. Another thought I had as I was doing this was, you know, I'm going to do a vase like this out of a plain wood and I'm going to color it. I want to color it a blue. Then when I found this piece of walnut, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to color it unless there's a little bit of the sapwood. And then I could color the sapwood blue. But then when I got into this with the graining and the sapwood and everything, I said, no, I'm not going to color it at all. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it the good old thumbs down. But leave feedback down below if I can improve, if I can do something better. Let me know what your thoughts are with this. Did it meet the qualifications? I think so. I think that's the most important thing, but I always love other people's takes as well. That's a big part of why we started these challenges, to show the individual creativity within this community. We've had some more channels join the challenge. We're up to about 55 now, so big thanks to everybody who's continuing to participate. There's also some people over on Instagram and Facebook that are participating, not on YouTube. Just follow that hashtag YTCCC2021. I'll put that up right down here. Make sure you follow that. Keep in touch. Keep in contact with everything that's going on. The challenge for the month of April coming up. Rob Brandt will be announcing that. I'll put a link to his channel right up here in the corner. And go check him out as well. Be watching for that upcoming challenge. I am excited with the opportunities. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. We'll catch you next week.